In today's video, we're going to be talking about Wolfenstein The New Order. It was released on PlayStation, Xbox, and of course PC back in May 2014. And in today's video, I'm playing the PS4 version of the game. So, in the game, it is based in 1946 during World War II, in which Nazis, they create technology that they're hoping to win and everything, but it ends up not working out. So, in the game, you play as B.J Blazkowicz, who is a soldier and that loves killing Nazis for a living. So, as a soldier, you just go around in stealth or even blast out on enemies and stuff. No matter how much you play the game, there are different ways you can kill each enemy from start to finish, and even earning the perks in the game was actually a lot of fun. But in this game, it's just a lot of fun being able to play as BJ and also experiencing his life from front point of view. So in today's video, you guys, let's go ahead and get started with it. So grab a drink, your controller, and a piece of paper or whatever, and let's go ahead and talk about this game, starting with Chapter 1. Are you ready? Let's go. Alright, you guys, so we are starting off in Chapter 1, where you end up being on a plane, and you have to defend yourself from, of course, the planes that are trying to destroy you and your men. So, right when in the middle of it, you have to destroy some of the enemy planes, and then here comes an aircraft that crashes right in front of you, and Fergus ends up waking you up and everything. And that's how everything starts off. So right after you land in the other plane, you have to jump into another plane with all these men in it, and then you find a bunch of medical supplies in there and stuff like that you can even heal yourself after being damaged and stuff. So when you walk in, you notice that one of these guys are going absolutely panicking. So you hit the action button, and then you hit this guy, and he's like, "Thank you, sir," and that's where everything takes place and everything. So right when, in a few moments and stuff, the plane crashes in, your men ends up going to another location, and your main objective is, of course, to make your way out of the plane while avoiding robot dogs from coming after you as well. So your main mission is to destroy them. So that's where everything happens in the first chapter. So right when you make your way and crash into the planes and everything, here comes these big dogs, and BJ ends up avoiding them and stuff. So, yeah, making your way outside of this plane is necessary. So, the only weapons that you have on you right now is a knife. So, right before you leave the plane, you do have to talk on the phone, on the plane and everything. And that's how everything starts off. Then you get out your knife, and then you're ready to destroy that crate, get out of there and everything. And you notice that those dogs are killing anyone who gets in their way, so you just gotta make your way out of there. So when you do make your way out of there, you start moving around and exploring everything. So that's where things take place and everything. So you end up being in a compound that has a lot of dead bodies and everything. You find grenades and armor and all kinds of other things. But in this part, I ended up finding my first gold medal. So those are some of the things you have to collect in the game. Gold medals, enigma codes, and of course a bunch of other things. But it's really not that hard of a game. I had a really great time with this game. So there are some areas that you do have to walk into in order like you'll find some like secret areas. You'll find some gold pieces and letters and all that stuff in different areas. This was one area that I've already claimed a letter, but that's one of the locations. And then you just kill enemies. You take your time in each area, and that's how everything starts in the game. So, when you're making your way towards your men, that's basically how everything starts. And when you reach the next area, yeah, you just look for all the gold and stuff like that in chapter 1. This right here is actually the menu that will help you out and everything. So, first part here is the notes, so it shows your current objective. This part right here is your perks, so you gotta be sure to get all the perks in the game. It may not last your first playthrough, but you can replay chapters and if you missed any perks and everything. So I will explain perks later on in the video, but be sure to stay tuned for that because I will explain the points of these perks and everything if you guys are brand new to this. So yeah, just stay here on the video and everything. Your collectible shows in each chapter which how many enigma codes, letters, and gold that you have to collect. Concept art and characters really does not matter for this game. You can get 100% by collecting them all and everything, but it really doesn't matter. So just explore really carefully. And last but not least is the tutorials. So you can look at the tutorials on how to do certain things and it will even show the buttons. So this right here is your map. Each level will have a map that you can collect. So be sure to explore around each map for these maps as well because they will show all the locations. And then that question mark there, that's where collectibles are. So be aware of that. So anyway, as I'm on my way back to my men and everything, made it there safely and all that. So right after that, then I had to destroy those dogs. And that's basically the only way that you can make it to them is killing those dogs. But in a few seconds ago, I was just showing you guys what happens like a little bit later and everything. But this is basically what happens right after you get out of the plane. So you got to make your way to Fergus and Wyatt and all of them and everything. So that's basically what you got to do. Really not that bad. You do have to kill some Nazis on your way there, but really not a big problem. And then I think in chapter 2 or 3, that's basically how you get everything. In this part right here, I ended up getting my my next perk, and this is from killing enemies with the turret. So when you're killing enemies with the turret, you get a trophy called Bullet Feeder, and that's for killing enemies with the with the turret mounted and everything. I had to jump from one building to the next, and Fergus caught me and everything. And I ended up climbing up, but we ended up falling through, and we got taken by, of course, him. His name is, I think his name is pronounced Defshind, or I think that's what his name is. I don't know, but anyway. I had to choose which one of these two guys needed to be sacrificed. B.J. watching in horror as one of them just gets killed and takes out his eye and everything. And then later on you discover that one of the robots and everything is, of course, has their brain in it, and it's actually really shocking, everything. Then I got the trophy for saving Fergus. That was the other trophy I needed. And then when I made my way out, a piece of shard went through my head and caused my brain and everything. Um, and I woke up at a hospital. And then right after having a fight and everything, I escaped the hospital, and Nazis came in there, killed everyone in there, and I just made my way out and everything. And then me and this nurse, her name's Anya in the game, ends up being BJ's lover. Just, they make their escape, and then yeah, that's the end of that part. So the next part, you do end up being on a train and everything, and then you meet two people. One is named Bubby, and he's the lover of a character. Her name is Irene, and Irene is, well, she's the leader of one of the leaders of the Nazis, and so yeah, that's basically how it starts. So right when you escape the hospital, you end up making it to Anya's, I think it's grandparents or aunt and uncle, and they help you out and everything. And you make your way outside, and you hide in their car trunk and everything. So they go through a gate and everything, and I just made my way around here. I did a lot of stealth throughout this game because the perks, you have to like get a lot of perks done and everything in order to get the trophies. So for this first part, I ended up getting another trophy, which was quick regeneration. And what that is, you got to get your health to over 200 in order to get this trophy. And so yeah, I got another perk for that, and that's for the health part of it. And then I earned another trophy, which happens right here, and I think this was my favorite because you got to shoot enemies in the head and everything, and you get another perk called Quick Draw. So that's pretty much how you do it here. You get the perks by doing actions and everything. So in this part right here, you do meet Bubby on the left. That's what his name is. And on the right is his lover, Irene. And she is 3 times his age, but he is known to be very, how you say it, respectful in his family or something like that. But yeah, yeah. Then afterwards, Anya and BJ make love. That's all I'm going to say right there. But anyway, BJ makes his way to the other side there, and doesn't those graphics look great under the record? But anyway, you do make your way to the next area, and while I made my way in and everything, I just started looking for more collectibles, enigma codes, letters, etc., and of course gold and all that stuff. So right when I did that, that's how everything just started getting better and better in the game. So, yeah, and BJ ends up jumping onto this truck, and then he makes his way to the other side of the city, and then he jumps off, and, yeah, it gets better when you get deeper into this game. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the series so far, and you gotta go save Fergus and everything. So you're at a prison, and your main objective was to save Fergus and some of your soldiers that were also being held there and stuff. So in the process, you do have to fight some Nazis on your way out, but it is a pretty fun fight because you're literally fighting your way out of that prison, And I did a lot of things to defend myself, and I was just, yeah, as I said, I was just enjoying myself, and I nearly died a few times, but yeah, I just made sure that my health was 100%, at least 80 to 100, and I made sure that my armor was up and everything. And then when me and Wesley and Anya made our way outside and everything, we ended up crashing the car and crashing through a window and stuff. And Anya spots a truck coming and crashing onto us. And so we have to like make our escape out of here. So we make our way through the sewers and all that. And then we were safe after that. So Anya was still up there, but me and Fergus just made our way out of the sewer, and that's basically how this part happened and everything. So I just made my way out really carefully. Anya opened up an opening for us, and we climbed our way out of there to safety. And so yeah, basically that's what happened. Fergus was hot wiring a car, and we really had to get out of there, or else those soldiers were going to detect us. Well, never mind, they detected us. And then Fergus just started going fast and furious on us, just started driving the car and everything, and we just had to get out of there. And when he finally started the car, we just made our way out of there and everything, and that's where the next part happened. So we drive to the nearest location, and we had to drive to a point to where, there was like, it was like very foggy and stuff. And then we had to get out of that car and everything. And then Fergus got out of the car. BJ and Anya also got out of there. And we had to make our way to a building. I forget which building it was, but we made our way there. And so we just made our escape and everything. So yeah, that's basically what happened, and we just jumped out and all that. We just made our way out, and yeah, that's it. So we just had to get out of there so we wouldn't get detected by those cameras. Those cameras had machine guns on them, and then we just jumped. I think we jumped right down there into that water, and then made our way through the next area. So yeah, I decided I was gonna work on more of the perks. I was still missing like maybe 3 or 4 of them at the end of my first playthrough, but it really wasn't that bad. And with my dual wielding pistols, I ended up getting another trophy called Gun Magazine. And then I made my way outside, met with Anya, and then we just made our way out of there. And yeah, it was a pretty good. I didn't record the whole fights and everything, the whole combat fights, because I didn't want y'all to. I didn't want to spoil it all for you guys, but I wanted to include some pieces of my gameplay in this video. And I do have to say, though, it was a lot of fun. Being able to play this game, it was just amazing. And there was a couple of sad moments in this game. Like, a couple of people ended up getting killed. And some of them, yeah, it just happened so fast, The game did take me it did take me a little over, like, close to 50 hours. But it was a lot of fun doing this game. Yeah, it was what PSN profile showed on there, it was a 5 out of 10 difficulty. and it took, according to them, 25 hours. But it took me a little bit longer because I was having a little trouble getting one of the perks unlocked because I kept dying over and over again. And you'll see on some of these clips where I have died after obtaining a perk, but don't let that bother you, because even if you do get a perk and you die, it will still be on you and everything. So, yeah, don't let it bother you and stuff like that. Just go with the flow, take your time through, and you'll see what I mean. So, right after that, I earned my very first trophy for solving the first Enigma code. So, when you collect a certain amount of Enigma codes, you go into the extras menu, and it will unlock certain types of bonuses for like your playthroughs and everything. So, that's basically what happens. So there was this Nazi commander that sort of he stabbed me with a knife, and then he dumped me. He thought I was dead, and he dumped me in a furnace with a bunch of other dead bodies, and so luckily I got out of there before I was cremated. And then I think that same guy was like right out in front of me right there, and a dog. Well, no, it was a guard actually, but anyway, yeah. Anyway, I stabbed him and the dog both, because that dog can really, really kill you right there. And then I made my way outside and got another trophy called All That Glitters. So I ended up, after talking to that person, I got another gold piece that I needed, and then I found a gold pistol in a office in a safe. And then as I was saving Fergus, there was this robot that was literally you know, that ended up killing all the Nazis and everything, and I was taken prisoner, tied up on a pole. And then Irene's jaw was really damaged right there, and ew. And yeah, her jaw gets damaged by that robot. Then afterwards you escape, and that robot actually, you get into it, and you can actually, that's where the next chapter starts up, is you're in control of this robot, and it acts all friendly towards you. And yeah, that's how this chapter happens. So right when you're saving all of the people, all your soldiers, and all that stuff that were imprisoned and all that, that's where you have to defend with the robot and everything, these enemies. And then you just make your escape in a truck and everything. This took me about 3 tries to get through this, because you really gotta be accurate and watch your back on each side and everything, because these guys will shoot rockets at you, and you gotta be sure not to get killed, because this one just wasn't, it really wasn't that easy, because you also gotta watch out for the health on this robot as well. And there's a lot of enemies coming left and right on you. You just gotta, just take your time through this. And you can also shoot rockets and stuff like that at enemies. So if you don't want to just use your your machine gun on the robot, just use rocket launchers if you want to. It can actually kill these enemies really faster, but it does take about maybe 10 seconds for it to reload. And then right after I defeated all the enemies and everything, I ended up making my way to the next area. And then right before that, I got this next collectible. and then I just made my way in, and that was it. So I had to get into. I didn't know where I was supposed to get into, and I was just exploring. I was just looking around and everything, and then I got into the truck with him, and I always forget his name, so ignore me if I don't remember all these guys' names and all. And then Irene pops up with her jaw damage, and then she starts shooting at the other guys in that car, and then tries to shoot me and him in the truck, and we just ended up escaping just in time. And that was absolutely a very intense level, but I had a great time in that part. So, what part did I not have a good time in, right? Alright, so for this part right here, there was a couple of commanders that I ended up killing and stuff. So there were some enemies that you can throw a knife to, and I ended up getting another perk called Knife Sheath 2. And then there was another part right here where I don't know what I did on this part, but there was a lot of enemies in this, so I had to be careful on this part because there was a lot of enemies coming in, and I wanted to make sure to get this part done. So I had to kill enemies with a shotgun, and what I had to do was I had to run and do this on the knee part and stuff, where you have to go like this, and you had to slide and kill an enemy all at once. So that's what I did, and I got another perk for that. This part right here, I was having a little trouble out of this one robot right here, because he came out of nowhere, and I had to make sure that there was a lot of cover on me, because this robot right here was literally trying to kill me, and I finally took him down, and I was glad that part was over, honestly, because I was starting to freak out on this part. I thought I was going to die a few times, but it ended up not true. So I recharged my laser craft work before I left, and then made my way to the next area. Got armor that if I needed it, and I was even trying to look for some health and stuff, but I just moved on to the next area. So right when I did, I was just looking for I always look on my map and stuff, and make sure I was going the right way, and I was kind of like confused where I was supposed to go and everything, so I just kept looking at my map and everything, and that's what happened. So yeah, I was just exploring around a little bit, making sure I was getting all the ammo and stuff out of crates that I needed, and looking for health and stuff like that. But unfortunately, I didn't find anything that I really needed. But I did find stuff that, oh yeah, and I did finally find a health thing. So I wasn't complaining there on that. And so yeah, I started opening these up with the laser craft work. I found some armor, I found some health, I found all kinds of things. And then I was just ready to get on that train, get out of there, and so yeah, I just made my way out of there and stuff like that, and that's basically what I did. So I took the time just still looking for stuff. But anyway, yeah, right after I looked for everything, I climbed aboard the train, activated it, and then I was out of there. So right after I made my way out of there, there they were. There was Fergus and Max and all them waiting for me. And yeah, that was it on that. And I got a trophy for beating that level and stuff too. This part right here, I went for another trophy where you have to eliminate enemies with the, reflector ammo. So I got another trophy for the shotgun magazine, and I got a perk for that. And yeah, that was it, and I died in the process, of course. But anyway, what I was mentioning earlier about the perks is each perk you gotta do a certain action in order to unlock it. So for the stealth, like for example, you stab people while not being spotted, or you throw a knife at them, or something like that. So basically it has to do with actions. You do all of them, you get trophies in exchange. And that's my favorite part about it is depending on what kind of weapons that you use and all that, you can basically do a lot with them. So even some areas you can even get certain types of upgrades for your weapons, like extra magazines, extra, extra battery for like your weapons and stuff, and a bunch of other upgrades, even health upgrades as well. So yeah, be sure to look for those because they can really help you out. So yeah, the combat in the game, this part right here, this was one of the most intense fights I've ever been in, because I had a little bitty amount of space to fight in, and I had to be near that charger to upgrade my lasercraft work, and I wanted to be sure that I was eliminating the enemies little at a time and everything, and then I was peeking in and out at the enemies and stuff, making sure that I was eliminating them one at a time and everything, and that was it. And I was just having a lot of fun on this, eliminating enemies as much as possible. And I just love the point where these games takes you on a wild ride. And first person shooters are actually one of my favorites, and I just love the action in them. I love the intense moments and stuff. It makes you feel like you're in a movie. But yeah, that's my point of view of what I'm saying right there. Is first person shooters are a lot of fun, especially if you're playing Wolfenstein. And I highly do recommend this game to you guys that are either new or anything like that to trophy hunting. But yeah, it's a great game, and I think it's definitely worth it in my opinion. So in this part, I had to follow Reed, Roth, and Fergus into this area, and ended up on this part right here. I ended up getting another trophy for the AR magazine, so I ended up getting another trophy for unlocking it. And then for this part right here, also got another trophy for unlocking another perk for this this marksman rifle. I always forget the name of it, but it is an absolute great marksman rifle, because it also has the power to even shoot, like the lasercraft work. So when you shoot enemies with it in the head, oh, it's amazing. But yeah, I ended up getting another perk for killing enemies with this weapon, and I ended up unlocking a magazine for it, so I got the Marksman Magazine Plus perk. And then the next part right here, I had to kill a certain amount of enemies with my rocket launcher. And, I actually, yeah, I really did have to. And when you did, you get the quick reload perk. Also got that one. And then there's another perk unlocked for throwing knives at enemies. So there's knives that you can throw at certain enemies. I had to do it to I had to throw like a grenade at a commander about 20 times. And then there was another trophy in which I had to take off the turret and everything and kill as many enemies as I could in 10 seconds. Now that seemed sort of hard, but this was the right moment right here for that, because I completely forgot there was one of those turrets there and everything. So right after a dog came up to me and everything, before that happened, I ended up getting a trophy. And then there's another trophy where you have to throw knives or sneak up behind these guys 20 times as well without being seen, and I got the trophy called Vampire. Another trophy I ended up getting is I didn't need a whole lot of perks left. I only needed a few more perks. But on this part right here, I ended up getting another trophy for called Harden, and I got it right after I died, so that was pretty good right there as well. And then I made my way into this room where there's an enemy talking on a radio. BJ ends up making his way in, stabs him like crazy, and I think BJ was, I think he was really mad because look at that, my goodness. So he takes control of that ship and everything, and he makes his way to this area where there's enemies. The shuttle crashes, and then there's enemies shooting all around you. So I made sure to duck down so that I don't lose any health at all. And then right afterwards, there was a cutscene that plays in a moment where you have to make your escape out the back of the shuttle. And then you start swinging along the bridge, and then you make your way into the next area. And I don't know how in the world BJ survived that. I mean, you just end up making your way through a window. There's an enemy there, and then boom, right there. And then there's like a huge fight that happens right here, and it took me a few tries to get through it, but I finally made it through. And then I made my way to the next couple of areas, and then there's one of the boss fights right here. This right here, I had to fight this big giant robot, and I mean giant robot right here. And what happens in this part is you have to shoot his eye first, and then you have to destroy the rocket launchers before he starts shooting them, or else you are dead, because that's what happens on this part. You have to destroy the rocket launchers, you have to shoot the eye, and then right afterwards, that's where things get a little bit easier. And then right afterwards, what I had to do was I had to go and shoot the undercarriage of him. So right after I did, he was destroyed. I got the trophy for it, and then I moved on. And it was, I really had a good time with this fight right here. It was scary at first, but I had fun. But yeah, that's what you do. You shoot the eye first, and then you destroy the rocket launchers with either your laser craft work or your marksman rifle that turns into a advanced version of a laser craft work. But yeah, I made sure I recharged both of my weapons first, and then I just made my way and defeated them. Pretty intense fight, but this is what I had to do right here. I was having a little trouble trying to get the marks in, but in the end, it was a pretty fun fight. And the good news was, towards the end of the game, I had my health at a good mark right there. Mine was like 160 right now. So if you make your, if you get your health that high, it really does a lot of good. So be sure you get those perks in your first playthrough. But if you don't get them all, that's completely alright. So right in the end, I had to make sure I was getting a good enough shot. And then I finally got this robot defeated, and I got the trophy for it. So it was all over. It took me about 10 minutes to get this done, but it was highly worth it right there. So this next part right here, there was a commander right in front of me, and I had to sneak at him and stuff. My health was really, really low when I got here, but there was Nazis that infiltrated the safe house and everything, so right after I made my way there, there were some Nazis here, so I ended up killing them all. And I had to save the others from getting killed. Already, 2 or 3 of us were killed in the process, and I ended up getting my last collectible in this. So I was pretty happy with that. I got my last 2 collectibles before the game ended, so I was pretty happy about that. Even though this game's got 16 chapters, but it was still worth it in the end. So here it was right here. I made it into Caroline's room, and the last collectible was right in here. And so, yeah, it was actually in Max's room, and it was right there, and it was a letter from him, and I ended up getting a trophy for collecting all letters. Then the next trophy, the next part, I had to eliminate enemies in the sewer part of the safe house. There were some enemies shooting at me and everything, and I had to kill 3 enemies in one clip without reloading, so I got the trophy for that. And then this part right here, I had to be sure that my health was all the way up, so yeah, I made my way through the air ducts, and made my way out and everything, so I had to be sure that all my weapons and everything were reloaded, and making sure that my rockets were all filled up, reloaded, and everything. So I just made my way out there and slid outside and everything. There's 2 robots there, and Caroline surprisingly saved me. It was like she had superpowers, and well, that was one of my favorite parts in this game, was where she saved me. I really did like that part. That was actually pretty cool. And then this next part right here, Max's friend ends up dying. He got shot, and he actually died. And Max was really upset, and he ends up screaming and crying and all. And yeah, it was a pretty sad moment right here. And yeah, that's what happened right here. So right after he died and everything, moved on to the next part. And this part right here, I made it into the laboratory areas where you find Bubby and in the vents, and he pulls you right out of there, and he ends up stabbing you, and you see Irene on the screen. She healed her face after it got damaged on the jaw part. Bubby I end up biting his ear off, and I stab him a couple times, and I kill him. And Irene on the screen ends up screaming and crying and everything. She actually sees me do that, and she just ends up crying and stuff like that, shaking. She just leaves and all that. So in chapter 16, where you have to do the Death Shield part right here, before you do that, you end up going up against Wyatt. As I mentioned before, you have to choose between Fergus or Wyatt dying. You have to sacrifice one of them. I ended up getting a trophy for taking out Wyatt and everything. So I opened up one crate right here where the last gold piece was. I was having a little trouble trying to aim for that, and I got my last gold there in the chapter. Death Sheeds. Yeah, Death's Head. I said his name wrong. But anyway, Death's Head. This was the second phase of the fight. The first phase involved him being in a suit. He's a robot and all that. And in this part right here, you're in a room where every time you like shoot or he shoots you or something like that, the place catches on fire. So I was doing this fight for about 10 minutes, and I finally got him at the end. And I had to keep recharging my lasercraft work, and in the process of that, I died a lot from this fight. This fight was very intense for me because I had no idea what in the world I was doing. And then I looked on the guide that said that you can, move around like pipes and everything and shoot and all that stuff while you're behind the pipes. And it did really work. So in the end, I got the trophy and everything, and I also completed my first playthrough on Death Incarnate, and then I got the trophy for completing all the chapters in the game. So right after the fight and everything, BJ just, he has a little recollection of what happened to Wyatt and how he became a robot. And I figured out that Death's End ended up taking his brain out of his body and putting it into his own creation, and it was sent to destroy me and stuff. So Death's End I ended up stabbing him. BJ did. So I ended up stabbing him a couple of times, and then he takes out a grenade on me, and then it blows up. So it blows up, and don't look at this if you guys are very squeamish, but his body is right there. BJ's friends comes at him, starts to escape and everything. BJ is wounded, and he sees that he and his friends and all that have escaped, and that's the end of it. So right after that cutscene and stuff, the credits rolled, and I skipped it so that the trophies could pop. And I got the first trophy called Superhero for completing the game, and then I got Liberation for completing the Death Incarnate mode. And then the rest of the trophies I ended up going for was to get the rest of the Enigma codes. So the Enigma codes kind of work like math problems. You gotta you gotta do like certain things. So I got the first one called Secrets Revealed 2. This is Secrets Revealed 3. So here is here's what the codes are. If you guys want to know what the codes are, here they are. So pause the video if you guys want to see what the codes are for each in this video. So just to help you guys out. So I got Secrets Revealed 3. Number 4 is this one. So after you get all the Enigma codes, this is what it is. And right afterwards, you get the last Enigma code trophy, and that's pretty much it. You get Secrets Revealed 4, and each one of these will add a little bonus to your gameplay on Uber difficulty. So speaking of Uber difficulty, I had a back save from a couple of years ago when I was on the last chapter. So right after I completed the chapter, I ended up getting a trophy called Uber Hero. But my story was not finished yet. I still had a couple more perks I had to get, and then I'd get the platinum for it. So for this part right here, you have to shoot enemies and have their grenades drop. So on chapter 1, when they drop a grenade, I had to make sure that it killed at least 3 of them in one. So I got the first trophy I needed, which was Vaporize. This part right here, one of the perks requires you to shoot your lasercraft work on the floor and it will kill enemies. I ended up getting that done, and then I died. This part right here, you have to shoot a certain amount of enemies with the rocket attachment in less than 10 seconds. So I had to kill 8 of them in 10 seconds. And it took me a couple of tries, but I ended up getting the rocket magazine one. And then this part right here is where you have to like throw the grenades back at enemies and stuff. And I finally got that. And I was waiting for this one to throw a grenade back, and I ended up getting the last one I needed. So right in the end, yeah, that was it. So that was the last trophy I needed before I got the platinum. And I was now a Wolfenstein master. So in the end, you guys, Wolfenstein New Order was a great game. I highly recommend it for those of you who are new to first-person shooters or even the Wolfenstein series altogether. Because in the end, when you really think about it, a first-person shooter, it may not be perfect, but it's still worth it in my opinion. And I really got to say, I'm enjoying these games so far. And very soon I will release another video. This time it will be about Wolfenstein Old Blood. So guys, be sure to like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys on the next one on Red TV Plays. Have a great day, everyone. See ya.